Hey guys, Razor from Razor's Edge here. Picked up a couple games this weekend. Actually two. And a lot of controversy around one, and mixed reviews, and then not so many against the other. So I just wanted to actually look at both games. This is the first title I'm gonna look at. This is actually at 3 o'clock in the morning, so this was important to me to make sure I got this communicated out. So I would appreciate it if you would stick around and watch some of this. I'm actually going to show you Citadel Forged with Fire. I did not get paid for this game. I actually purchased it. I'm not being paid for this review. I'm doing this strictly for the devs and for your information before you make the purchase. First off, I'd like to make one what do you call it? One statement. This is on a private server. This will be on the Gamed Edge servers. So I have no experience on any public servers or the paid, not paid, but the public official server. So having said that, keep that in mind. I'm gonna do not a tutorial, not a playthrough. I'm gonna show you what I saw, what bugs are in the game that are obvious, the difficulties in certain aspects of the game, and then the beauty of the others. So hopefully this is informational for you before you make a purchase, or inspires you to make a purchase. Either way, this is for the developers. They worked hard on this game, and as I always do, I give everybody a shot. If the game is a turd, I'll call it a turd. So, anyway, sit back and let's get this started, shall we? Okay, so the first thing I noticed was within the options. The one thing I noticed is that the volume in this is super high. I turned this down to about 9 and I turned the music off. The sound was really loud and it really was a complete distraction. In the graphics settings, I'm running in full resolution, epic everything all the way out. In full window mode. I noticed the only two options you really have are full screen windowed or windowed. There is no full screen option. And then I turned bloom off, or not bloom, but the blur. I don't know of any gamer out there that enjoys blur. I certainly don't, but it's turned off. So key binding straightforward and do work. I did notice that there were a few things in here as far as auto equip items. I've used that on and off. It's a little interesting when you make an item, if it's better or if you pick it up, it'll actually equip it, and it does work. So let me pause real quick. I'm going to log into our Gamed Edge servers, and this isn't for Gamed Edge. This is not a promotion for our community. This is strictly a game review. So that's it for the interface and settings. Let's go ahead and hop on the server and let's take a look. So the server browser is pretty straightforward. You've got internet, you've got friends, favorites, and the favorites. It didn't work. So I actually marked the server favorites, and for whatever reason, well, it does work. You have to wait for a while. So it actually does. I think it does a search. But if you click there for a while, it will pop up into the list. So this is our server. It's locked. And there's the list of the public servers out there that you can play on. I have not played on any of them, so I don't have a clue what they're like or what the experience of others that have reviewed this game or showed the other videos. Okay, now let's hop in. I wanted you to see that. And not just because it's Gamed Edge, but because this is actually what you're going to see when you load the game up. So here we go. Okay, the loading time is fairly quick for our server. I don't know what it's like on others, but ours is really fast. So I don't know if that's any different from what you've experienced. I'm actually logged out, so I am in our server right now. This is actually what I built, me and my wife. Kind of a two-tiered. My wife's kind of a crafter type. She really gets in, and believe it or not, this is all temporary. Once our skills are up, we're going to move upward and outward into some of the harder areas. I want to show you something really fast here. This is didn't know I was going to get attacked. This is one of the stone. The only person we have on the server that's actually high enough to make stone. And these are some of the building types that you can do. So I don't know what's out there, who's done what. I've not watched a lot of the videos, but it's pretty nice. So his work is really beautiful. We're still working in wood. There's a lot of different features, but I'll tell you, the interface is rather clunky, and I'll show you, not the interface, but the building, and I'll show you why. And it may be causing some confusion out there about it, as far as how to place a door or a window, or another, something else like that. Just things that we ran into personally. So let me go into the house real quick. I want to show you that, and then we'll move. Okay, if you don't own the game, you probably haven't seen this before. If you do own the game, you have seen this before. These are your inventory slots. Basically, in here is where you'll find your inventory and your items. This is your spell book. It basically is the spells that you've learned. You can actually equip 2 per weapon. There are 3 tiers, and I can go through that here, of weapons. Sorry about that. Of weapons. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. There's a fist weapon or gauntlet. There's a wand, a staff, and a melee, like an axe. And these are the different ones you can lock at each level. Same thing for the armor, and then the trinket slot. You can only wear 1 piece of jewelry. So that's really it on that. The crafting menu. Some of them require crafting stations. Some of them do not. It will tell you what it requires for each one. So let's skip through that. We've looked at the systems real briefly. Again, this is not a tutorial. This is just a review. So one thing I noticed that I really liked is there's a spell that you can get, and you can put it in most weapons, I believe. It's called Extraction. And as you can see, I'm actually gathering wood through the window from a tree. And I'm doing that because I want to show you a building piece real quick. And we're about got enough here. There we go. Alright. So if I look at my inventory, and you do have a first person, it's tab key. You can look at it in second person, and you can also look at it in first person. I like first person personally. That's just my own preference. But I gathered 52 logs and a few plants and then a broom that you can actually use to fly, but no, that did not come from the tree. So let's get out of that real quick. Let's make a wall. And to make a wall, you hit... Well, that's the map showing you that next. If I hit the B button, this is the actual crafting. So things that you've unlocked, these are the things that... So right now, like I said, we can only work in wood. These are the windows that I was talking about. Most people, at least I didn't. When you go to make a window, the first thing you would think was, okay, I'm looking for windows. There's no window. Windows are under doors. And they're right here. These are the types that I have unlocked right now. These are the doors, open and closed. This is would be actually with no swinging doors, swinging doors, and then the various window types, the 2 down in here. So let's build a wall real quick. Why am I building a wall real quick to make a door? That's why we're here. So let's find a place where it'll actually let me build a wall. And I'm gonna put it right down here. My wife will be mad, but she can remove it later. And we're gonna place that right there. Then I'm gonna back out just using the right mouse button. It's under the doors. You just go down to the double door, the wall, boom. Your window is in. It's the same thing for doors and windows. The roof, we've noticed that when you had a two-story, two stacked, it was really hard, actually almost impossible. I had to build a floor, then go up and build the roof. But it can be done, and as you saw in the other building that I just looked at, it actually has a nice thatched roof, which he's building on top, and he does in fact have a two-story house. So it's not the easiest thing to work with. None of these pieces are. They do require some angling and positioning to get them just right. You have to be, it's not something you spin your mouse on to get the stairs to turn around, but eventually, you're a pig, cute. But it can be done, and it just takes a little finagling. It's not difficult. One thing I'll tell you, that the performance is fantastic. It's very fluid, quick, fast. I've experienced maybe 2 crashes. I have no idea if they were server related or they were my actual interface related, but I've been playing this all weekend and have only crashed twice. I lost nothing, no progress or anything of the sorts. So let me move on to the next little piece. Alright, I didn't know I was going to have to kill a pig to finish the second piece, but... Okay, the second piece I wanted to show you is storage. A lot of people don't notice that this is by weight. So just because you have all these slots in this chest doesn't mean the chest can hold that many. I don't know if they're going to be adding more chests in the future that are larger, or you can unlock them. That was one thing we noticed, is that right now I can't drag anything over here. If you click on the send stack, it actually pulls the whole thing over. Oh, I guess I do have room in that one. But it will reach a max limit, and you can see it down here of how much weight. And we've reached that length. It actually goes over, but it did get, you can see it stopped me at 7, so I can't get everything into a chest. That was one thing I noticed. Okay, the second thing I noticed was with the deconstructor. It's one of the things that you'll actually be able to unlock later in the game if you choose to do so. I did notice that although it's fantastic to be able to get items back for things that you don't need. Who's behind me? I tell you, the weirdest things happen at night on a public server, or on our private server. My wife might have already broke them all down. I hope not, because I needed them for this tutorial. She did. Shame on her. Okay, as you did notice, the auto-equip function did work. I actually have an axe. But with that deconstructor, for whatever reason, it actually grabs items out of your inventory and deconstructs them as well. And I know right now this sounds like that I'm bashing the game, but I'm really not. I'm just showing you. So here is the material I'm going to get out, and then when I hit deconstruct, where's the bag, right? You expect it to be right there. Well, they can be up here, and the bags don't go away. So they were an annoyance. So if I did like 5 or 6 deconstructions, there'd be bags around the floor. There'd be bags on top. Everything else seems to work fine. Occasionally you'll find one on the floor, for especially with this crafting workbench on. But the majority of the time, the bags are right there on a corner somewhere, or on top where they're supposed to be. Have found no other issues with those whatsoever. So those are the few crafting stations that we've been working with, and I think most people will have been working with at this level. I'm again only level 16. I just picked this game up on Friday. So let's take a look at the next thing. Moving on. Now, one thing I liked is when I did take the weapons off, when I mapped the spells to the two weapons, and you hit the G key and you can toggle back and forth between your primary and secondary, they're still there. So that I was glad for that. These are the different items I have. The more I make of them, it seems like the better they get. They do have little stats and bonuses, and there's rare, uncommon, there's different uniqueness to them. And you'll notice that some of them even have like perk bonuses, mana cooldown reduction, more damage, and there also could be negative penalties. The way I actually put those on is I just drag down the ones that I've unlocked to the right weapon. So obviously you can't use an ice bolt with a wand. There's some restrictions, and when you look at the spell, when you unlock them, it actually tells you which weapon it goes on. So if you unlock a whole bunch of items, like say for the gauntlets, and you're never going to use a gauntlet or make one, it might be something that you don't want to unlock. So I'm switching over to my, well, actually I want that one, and I'm not a big, that does a lot of damage, but you have to get up close and personal to your target. That isn't something that I'm a fan of as a spellcaster. Not anything against the developers, it's a personal preference. But I like the fireball, plus it really makes a cool effect and it doesn't suck all my mana. But I want to run around here. I just want to show you. Here's the map view. This is all the further we've gotten. That's how big the map is. There's a lot of areas to explore here. A lot of animals and materials. I've tamed horses. You can make saddles for them. You actually can keep them as pets. You have to, they have needs. It's called loyalty. But there's a bandit camp over here. I just want to show you. And it's at night, so you know it looks really dark in the scene. So, and I will do some footage in the daytime. I was showing you all those options during whatever period it was in. I didn't really care. So, bandits are taking a nap. I don't see them here. Another thing I noticed, again, I don't know if that's server side or not, but things will stop spawning and chests will not open. Typically I found these just to work themselves out, but in the one server crash that they had, when the server came back up, everything was working again and trees were growing again. That may be something the developers are already addressing. I don't know, but other than that, we've had no issues with the other things. It's only seems to affect resources like trees. So let's move along. I thought I was going to get to fight some bandits. We'll have to go find something else. So I'm going to actually let the time pass and go to daytime and show you some of the game in the day, what it looks like, and how beautiful it is. Hold on just a second. as well mix the show on here. While it's dark, another thing I wanted to cover, it would be nice, so it's either all or none on splitting. It would be nice to be able to just, because you can bring over, I found the easiest way is to bring over the max that you can carry of an item, but then you have to right click and actually get it down to the number you want. It would be real convenient to be able to select a number, like a right click and a split stack, something of that nature. But I mean, it's not like I'm in a hurry to do anything, so that was not a hindrance to me. I'm gathering some stuff. I'm just going to craft something for you real quick and show you the different items that I can create. So hold on. So this is the crafting workbench, and these are the two different staffs that I can make right now. They were unlocked, I believe, at 15. The first one I was able to make was the Death Weaver. It's a staff, and then I was able to make this Nordic wand at 15. So I'm going to make one of these, and you can see that the timer will actually show up. If you back up a little bit, you'll see the time it takes to make the item, and then once it's done, there'll be a bag that pops down either up here or down there, and it's really up to the game where it comes. So let's wait for it. And you can do it in batch. You saw the slider. You can make as many or as few items as you want. So that's where I expect to find it. And I can click on here and it'll tell me what I'm using. And I can take a look at this item in my inventory, and it'll make a comparison. So the item that I made was rare, but it's comparing it to the item that I have equipped. So let's switch over to the wand that I have and let's go and compare it. So there you can see the two comparisons in the stats. This is pretty comparable. It looks like it actually gives me more mana, but a little bit less health, and the crit is the same. So, and the damage is the same. These are different every time, and they seem to get better the more I make of them. The other thing I wanted to show you that I ran into was the precious stone. That was one of the first things I looked for when I was able to get this one, is where do I find precious stone? And let me show you where I went, and then actually where I found it. So when I first found out about this, somebody told me that they actually found precious metal in the cave. And this was our first night. So you can right click on the map and it'll give you a highlight point. And then you can look on the map and it'll show you the distance to it. So we're gonna head over there and see what we can beat up on as we go along. Again, I don't want that weapon. I want my fireballs. You can swim across the water. It's kind of nice. Just make sure it's not green, because that's toxic. Acid is bad. Even ran into a dragon here. It's in the opposite side, in the southern direction of where I'm running now. There's a dragon over there that gave me a real nice greeting when I first came into the game. So we're going to truck along here. I'm hoping to see something along the way. I can blast it for you. I can show you these fireballs. Versus the lightning or the beam weapon that I was using that's on my other weapon, on my wand. I actually have an ice bolt, and I have my taming there, my extractor, and my fireball on this one. There we go. Pretty freaking cool. I mean, the sound effects and the special effects are really neat in this game. So we're gonna truck along down here. Bear with me. Oop. Wow, I like the harvester. As I'm running around, I can actually harvest things, you know, as I'm moving along. And if something jumps me, I've got my weapon out. fairies drive me nuts, but you need them. So let's move along here. Oh, there's a lot of them today. You know how long I've been looking for you guys. Thanks a lot. Let me show you taming real quick, because this is kind of cool. So there's a status bar. There's a ring around it. You can see it coming up. That's now mine. I can name it. I can walk up here and I can hit this tame creature button and I can name it. So blah blah blah. And then with the saddle, you can hit interact. You can put a saddle on this and you can ride the sucker. There's horses. I found all kinds of items or animals in here. So let's walk away. That was the other issue. There's no easy way to. I don't see anything in there to close. It's not real obvious if there is. To get rid of that, so I just hit escape and that doesn't work. So I'm not really sure what that arrow is indicating that I do. And I don't even remember how I got out of it. Yeah, I just hit another option. I just hit I and it goes away. So yeah, there are little things. What I found so far is the things that were annoying to me way less outweighed the things that actually I liked about the game. It's a very beautiful game. Here's resources for extracting those rune particles instead of picking them up and extract them. Alright, you can get leather off of these guys. Or hide and convert that to leather. I mean, at level 15, I feel like a frickin' beast until I go fight an ogre up on the back hill there. There's a lot of wolves, but so I went all the way to this cave. I fought my way all the way in here. And then to my surprise, we need to drink a potion here. We're gonna run out of mana. Make sure we're clear. So I ran in here looking for essence. And they said, oh, it's behind a rock. So somebody had actually already mined that node. And all I saw was the one back here, and I thought, oh, well, how the heck do I get it? So that wasn't there when I came here. But these are the precious node stones. And there's only so much that comes out. And these ones are it's rare to none. There's two. So you can imagine my frustration when I came up here. I came all this way, and these chests are in fact working and not bugged out. So as I said, it's random when it happens. But let me run over and show you all the way back over by where our base is. If I can get there alive. And I'm not wasting time taking loot. I'm playing on my time. There's that poison stuff. Don't walk in that. But I am going to pause here. I'm going to run my way back. I just wanted to show you some of the gameplay. Actually, we can cut over here. But I mean, look at the game. You can grab things manually. You can use your extractor and pull those types of items. Here, another fairy. Bear with me, guys. I know this is a review, but I might be at too much of an angle. Monolith. I didn't even know those existed until this tutorial, so wow. And you saw it gives me a little boon there on my bar. I mean, I'm constantly finding new things all the time. And why? Because like most gamers, I don't read about what's in the game. But, I mean, look at the graphics for that. That is really cool. And this is, I mean, the game takes very little resources to run. It's very fluid. But there are tons of these rocks on mountaintops. And not only do you get gold, let's see if there's some stone in here we can throw away. It's filling up our inventory. There we go. And you do get experience while you're doing this. Alright, that's enough. So we've got 4, and there's literally hundreds of them up here. If not up here, if you look down the sides, I believe it's on this side. And they may not be spawned. Remember, this is a server. Somebody may have just logged out and actually farmed all these. But when I came up here, there were literally more than I could carry of just precious stones. So it was quite nice. And let's see, where's my house? Oh, it's that way. So you can also, I have a broom. I don't use it because it burns a god-awful lot of mana, but it is quite cool. You can fly in this game. There's 2 ways that you can do it. It's kind of nice. You don't take falling damage. You sort of just kind of Harry Potter looking effect as you fly down. So I like that as well. Do we have any room for that? Well, I'm gonna need a few of those rune crystals. So let me make my way back to the base, and I want to show you something else. Okay, this is my buddy Screech's house. I kind of like the construction he's done. He calls this his hot tub, but he needs it cleaned because it's green. It doesn't look green right now. But he has his own built-in hot tub. Actually, I think it's on the other side. There's a horse. I'd tame him, but I don't have a saddle right now. I can't make one. On the other side of his house, there's this hot tub. It burns the skin right off of you, so that's kind of funny. But he's done a really good job on his building, so I just thought I'd show it off real quick. Except he's got some construction challenges on how to get up to his throne there. I don't know what he did. He messed it up, though. Creech, you messed up your building. And there's our base. So we're gonna go back in here, and I want to show you one more thing. Everything else is just as it's advertised in the game as far as crafting and what you can do in the game. So hold on just a second. So the other item I was wondering was, I found something, let me find it real quick here. An amethyst crystal. It was something that I needed, and it required essence, but I didn't know where it was. Where's an amethyst crystal? Well, you make it. You actually craft it on the forge with those 2 items, and it's the same deal. You just wait for the timer to go off, and you do get experience, and it's based on the server that you play on, which can be adjusted. You can like any other of the games that I've seen, I'm not mentioning their names. It's adjustable on the experience gain or not gain. It's adjustable by the server admin. So I'm going to click away the time here. Okay, it's about done. So I got 600 experience. The bag is right there. And I've got my amethyst crystal that I could use to make that item. So one final note I'll just add on the deconstructor, the bags do disappear. I said it in the earlier clip they didn't. It just takes time. They do deconstruct, but just make sure that you don't have a like item. So if I'm working with staffs and I'm going to deconstruct them, make sure you don't have any staffs, because you may actually deconstruct the staff that you wanted, that you're using, and lose it, and have to go make another one with the same stats. So that's really it for the review of this game. I found it to be fantastic. It's definitely worth the price they're asking for and more. There are a few issues that the devs need to work out, and hopefully they're addressing those in patches. I've not read the forums to read what the complaints are, why it's getting mixed reviews, but I'm enjoying it. So as far as Citadel Dark, or Citadel Forge and Fire, completely worth the price. I like it. It kind of has a WoW feel as far as the characters, and but with a whole lot more. Better graphics, more modern, up to date. It's not a cartoon, but it's a little cartoonish. But for the trade-off you get from the cartoon, you get in performance. It's very fluid, very fast, no lag, and really cool effects, modern effects. So I like that. So I give this game a B+. You work out the few of the little things, maybe tweak some of the crafting, some of the bag drop issues, and the deconstruction things we've run into in the building as far as positioning, and this is an A+ game. It's exactly as advertised. So anyway, that's it. Again, take it for what it's worth. That's my opinion in this game. I'm not knocking anyone else's reviews, but I did play this for an entire weekend before I did the review, not just for a half hour and write a review. And that's it. So this is Razor from Razor's Edge. I hope you found this useful before you made your purchase. And as always, until next time, I'll see you when I see you. You guys take care.